much, gentlemen. Cloud9 going to be in a tough place here mentally after losing 2 games to start off the day. And Flash Wolves, what a way to rebound. I mean, you basically a very stark contrast from game 1 to game 3 of our day.
Yeah, and especially this game, I think the big difference is that they have a split pusher in the side lane, which they can end games with. And that person was Maple on Rise. I think that makes a huge, tremendous amount of difference where they have 2 teleports and the person on the split push. 1-3-1 was the way to go.
I honestly have no idea how that game even got to that stage. Nidalee out-tempoed the heck out of Lee Sin. Was able to go top, get first blood, was 2 camps up at one point, first blood, and there should have been no way back into this game. When you have a Gnar that ahead of a Poppy, that should like literally be lights out. But all of a sudden, Casa just makes play after play after play, and then Maple 1v3s under a turret. I mean, this was a perfect nightmare for Cloud9.
Yeah, the second that Flash Wolves got a grip in that by that pick onto Nidalee, it was just game over. Cloud9 seemed unable to look for any opportunities, and Flash Wolves just took all the ones that Cloud9 could have been able to come up themselves and just use that against themselves and got so far ahead. It was really great game by them.
And not to take anything away from the Flash Wolves, but I think that play that you just highlighted there, the pick off on Nidalee, which was an aggressive move by Meteos in the first place, to me is the story of Cloud9 so far today. They look like a solo queue team. They don't look together, right? Well, I mean, they're giving up objectives left and right around Dragons when they have compositions that could probably stand and fight.
I think their control is like what I would really highlight. They don't know when they should be aggressive, and then they don't know when they shouldn't be aggressive. We saw in the game against SKT where like time and time again, just flash on the Zyra. She's already used double summoner spells, blow her up. They don't do it often enough with the Alistar. Then this game, when you should play passive because all of a sudden your Gnar is massive and you stall out the other 2 lanes and let Impact go to work one more time, they're just incapable of doing that as well, and it all falls apart at the seams.
Yeah, and then there I want to return to the good for Flash Wolves, which is that we had questions around, hey, their late game decision making. And here, once they had control of this game, they did not let it go. It was pretty smooth and steady, although it took some time, but they pretty cleanly won the game once they established a lead.
Their answer was pretty much just to group together, and because they were so far ahead just from the regular laning phase and so strong in Maple particularly, they could just bulldoze anything. And I mean, they group 5 middle, were able to take that group 5 bottom, just straight up took that turret and took the objective. And once you are actually that strong enough to do that, then closing out the game is relatively simple.
Yeah, and I just wish that Flash Wolves would pick for these later compositions. You know, NL has actually been good in this tournament. His Caitlyn has looked fine. Stop going for the Jhin and the Lucian. Just pick this late game composition where you can out-team fight and out-rotate other people.
And I think that's fine as well, because, I mean, Casa and Maple are good enough to get you through the majority of the early games at this stage. And, you know, MMD picking more for the composition, NL picking for the sieges, which is where they really have struggled, is that setup stage. Just makes a heck of a lot more sense. And, you know, if I had have known that they would have gone back away from the Jhin to the Caitlyn, like, this is a completely different game now.
Yeah, very much so. And Clement, you mentioned Maple being a split-pushing threat, but the team fight that I want to take a look at is where he's a 1v3 team fight monster. 25 minutes into the game, about C9 aced in the mid lane, a turret plus a Baron for Flash Wolf.
This is really the point where you remember that Ryze wasn't really actually nerfed. He just got a new shiny ultimate. And you see right here, the damage is just 2 items on Ryze is like unbearable, even for the tankiest members of C9. We see the push coming in here, and then Ryze is going to sneak off to the side. Meteos is looking for some opportunities here, but he doesn't expect who he runs into. Gets 2 shots to the face, and then another Q kills him right there. Now it's a 1v2 scenario. The exhaust is on Ryze, but the damage is still going in. The last shield prevents him from dying, and he cleans up the 1v3.
And that's the biggest thing to me. I mean, knowing when you need to go for extra damage, knowing when you need to go to pop that shield, that just shows that Maple really has mastered this champion, has all the combos down pat. And honestly, that looked like a weird flank one more time to go for. It looked like the turret was actually defended this time around. Still, Impact wants to go for it, and they get caught out.
And Crumbs, you talked about at the very beginning of the day, C9 lives and dies by Jensen. And that gold graph there, or not, rather not gold graph, that damage graph there does not speak well when a player is on Victor, one of the highest output AoE damage team fighters, and he's only matching his jungler and his top laner.
Well, we actually did see him get bullied in the mid lane by the likes of Maple, and when you don't have a very good synergy with the jungle, mid, and support, it's very hard to maintain a control on that area and have a mid laner that can push in and move around the map. With the likes of Braum and Nidalee, you have to be able to go in, secure the vision, and Cloud9's vision has, again, been suspect this game, and it just becomes so much more difficult for a mid laner to try to play their own game if they don't feel comfortable pushing past River.
And that's a big big reason why Maple's going to take player of the game here for the control of the mid lane. We've now seen Jensen play both sides of this matchup. The casters talked about it in game, and both times he's come out on the worst end of it.
45% of damage, that's absolutely gross. I mean, I'm just looking at this and replaying it in my head, and so many of these game-winning plays for the Flash Wolves now come down to 2 people. I think like Sword Art's having a solid tournament, but really when they win, it's Casa, Maple going absolutely bonkers at the moment.
The key here is that Flash Wolves needed that win in order to keep their quarterfinals hopes alive. For those C9 fans out there, have no fear. There are still a couple different opportunities that they have to make it to the quarterfinals. SKT and IMA are up on deck next. Stay with us.
TSM goes Sky is bad, man. TSM goes Sky.
Let's not join them in the sky.
Let's do it for TSM.
Oh, he juked back into it, and the flash to save! Mechanically perfect from Meteos! Meteos, he's gonna contest Sword Art on the flash to chop him down. Here's 2 teammates, Meteos! Oh, man, assassinated. 3 versus 5, what are they going to get? It's gonna be Maple getting the first kill. Now Sneaky trying to get the trade, but look at the damage! Maple with the triple kill! Jensen caught out by the stuns, knocked into the air, not dead just yet, trying to stay alive, the tackle, gonna finally take him out. MD gets one. Smoothies next up, 2 for 0 to Flash Wolves. Flash Wolves stays alive at the World Championship.